My younger brother used to believe until he was like 15 that if he closed his eyes when he got in trouble, no one could see him. So like my mom would be screaming at him and he'd just be like, she'd be like, what are you doing? He's like, you can't see me. Number 1, I thought the old and young versions of movie character actors were played by the same actor. They just waited until the actor grew up to finish making the movie. Now, I'm guilty of this one. I'm guilty of this one, not only as a kid, but I kind of believed this until maybe I was like in high school. Like I had thought this for a long time, because how do they get people? They look exactly the same as a kid and exactly the same as an adult. Doesn't make sense. Well, okay, it does make sense. But as a kid, it didn't make sense. I was like, this is ridiculous. This movie took like 35 years to make. I can't believe it. Even like now, they would like have a modern movie and they'd go back and show him as a kid, and I'd be like, did they know he'd be famous and like they recorded him 30 years ago for this moment? Stupid, but I believed it. 1 point for Loverfella. When my parents said colleges were hard to get into, I thought they meant the door was heavy and hard to open. Don't think I did that one, but that's a classic little kid thought, you know? Your parents say something and you just take it literally. Another story for you guys, actually, that's crazy. When I was a kid, there's a song called Yankee Doodle Dandy. It was like a famous song in America. I don't know, you sang it as a kid. For some reason, my cousins convinced me that Yankee Doodle was a cuss word. So I'm like 6 years old and I'm like, they're singing it at school. And I'm like, this is so bad. I can't believe they're letting us say Yankey Doodle here. And like, this went on for months, years even. And so I asked my mom one day, I was like, Mom, are we allowed to say the word Yankee Doodle? She's like, what? I was like, can we say Yankee Doodle? She's like, yes. And I was like, yeah, well, my cousin said when I was 4 that it's a cuss word. And she's like, what? So then we talked to them, and basically a lot of words they said were cuss words that weren't, and they thought it was funny to do that to me. So, okay, here I am. Number 3, that it was skin milk, not skim milk. And it had bits of skin in it like orange juice pulp. That is disgusting and such a good lie. I'm gonna take that one and share it with my friends. This is the kind of stuff that I do. I will convince my friends things that are stupid. This is one of them. So guys, welcome to the skin milk era of Zach's life. Number 4, my mom told me there was a tiny person behind the wall of the automatic flush toilets, and he watched until you were done to flush it. Like, it's such a stupid lie, but it makes so much sense. Like, as a kid, are you gonna question that? When I was young, when my mom said she didn't know something, I actually thought that meant nobody knew it. Why is chicken noodle soup good for you when you're sick? And she was like, I don't know, Zach. And I was like, huh, guess no one knows. I was in high school and my science teacher, I'm a senior, and he's like, so chicken noodle soup's good because it has these antibodies in it, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, this guy is making this up. My mom said when I was 3 that she doesn't know, which means nobody knows. And I realized all the stuff my mom said she didn't know, other people could know it. It just took my whole life to realize that. That's embarrassing, actually. Number 5, oh boy, I think I've done this. I thought the Gushers commercials where their heads turned into fruit were real, so I wouldn't eat them until I was in my teens. Oh my gosh. When I was a kid, there was this like green man that would punch you or something from spinach, like Popeye. And my dad told me if you didn't eat spinach, he would punch you in the face. And I believed him for years. And I was like, I don't know how that's possible, but like it worked. I ate my spinach and like broccoli and stuff, but I was afraid of the little green dude punching me in the face. Stuff made sense as a kid, man. Number 6, I thought if I ate the seed of whatever food I was consuming, it would grow in my belly. That's a classic. I think we've all believed that at one point or another in our lives. Like if you eat watermelon, you'll grow a watermelon tree. If you eat gum, you'll grow, you know, a gum tree. It's just a common belief that I still have to this day. I'm trying to grow some watermelon seeds in my stomach right now. We'll see what happens. So I got this green shirt on to help emphasize the watermelon growth. Number 7. I thought nosebleeds seats at basketball games were given the name because they were closest to the court. You could get hit in the face with the ball and get it nosebleed. That actually makes more sense, does it not? Why are they called nosebleeds? Do you bleed more on the top? Number 8. My mom told me that my fingers started to look like raisins in the bath and that my body was dissolving. It could go down the drain with the bath water. So when your finger absorbs it, that is crazy. When I was a kid, I thought, you guys know how like your hand will go asleep, like if you lay on your arm wrong, flexing. No big deal. Any Laurens out there though, let me know, get in touch. I'm single, looking for a Lauren. But I got like my arm would fall asleep, and I just learned what germs were and like bacteria. And so as a kid, I was like, oh, this must mean my germs are jumping off my arm. Duh. They're excited. So every time it happened and my arm was all tingly, I would look at it and I was like, where are the germs at? I know you're here. I know you're here. And I would like look at it and I couldn't see them, and I was like, wow, germs are tiny. Every time my arm fell asleep, it would do it. And then in school one day, the teacher's like, hey, why does your arm do this? Why does it fall asleep? And I was like, because germs are jumping. Kids just stared at me, and well, I swear I lost my cloud again. Happens a lot as a kid. Number 9, I thought clowns were a race of people. That is just stupid and scary. Moving on. I thought the satellite dish kept aliens away. Okay. I don't know how you'd think that, but yeah, okay. I don't know how you'd think that at all. I'm trying to like relate to this guy and be like, yeah, me too. Nah, I don't think I could ever do something like that. Number 11. I thought there were little people in the radio who lived there and played the music for me. I think that's what's funny about being a little kid, is that we don't understand the concept of like radio and TV and all this stuff. So our best guess is there's a little person there, or like you can get inside the TV. Like it just makes sense as a kid. You're like, oh, obviously there's a little dude in there singing to me. That's just how it is. You don't question the fact that they're trapped there and they can never escape. You don't question the fact fact that how do they get in and out? You're just like, yeah, that's how it does it. You definitely couldn't travel through radio waves. Nope. My grandpa told me his dentures were donated teeth from people who have died. That's a good grandpa joke right there. I like that one. It's respectful. Good job, grandpa. Number 13. I was told if you picked your nose and wiped it on something, it would turn into a worm? What? That's weird. All right, that's weird. And as a little kid, that's gonna encourage you to pick your nose more. You're gonna be like, yes, I can make worms. So you're gonna like want to terrorize people, picking that nose and like freaking worms everywhere. I think as a little kid, like a little guy, you would like worms, right? Just to guess. Number 14. My dad's birthday is the 4th of July. So for the longest time, I thought the town lit fireworks for him. My birthday as a kid, I didn't understand the concept of birthdays were once a year. I just knew I got presents on my birthday. So I thought my birthday was multiple times a year. I thought Christmas was my birthday was my birthday, Easter, basically every holiday I got stuff I thought was my birthday. I thought I was like 57 years old when I was 3. And then finally, one of my friends was talking to me and he's like, hey, by the way, my birthday is like in, 11 months. You have to wait 11 months for your birthday? Because I just had like 4 of them last month. And then that's how I realized that your birthday is once a year. That was heartbreaking to me. My parents told me the hazard switch in the car, like the flasher switch, was an eject button for bad kids. That is good. Kids believe anything, man. Kids are stupid. I say it, but the more I talk, the more stories I tell you that make me realize I'm stupid. Number 17. I thought Silicon Valley was named after silicon breast implants because I learned from a TV show that some Californians had fake boobs. Wow, okay. That's actually not a bad idea. I mean, I could reasonably believe this if someone told me this today. My dad put a mounted deer head on the living room wall. Uh-oh. I was convinced the rest of the deer body was on the other side of the wall in my parents' room. How weird would that be? Like you're with your wife in bed and you're like, hey babe, look at that deer butt up there I got for you. It looks good, doesn't it? And you just can't walk near it. It sticks out like 8 feet and you're just like, what a deer butt, Number 19. My sister told me that mannequins in the mall were dead people that no one collected from the morgue. It's such a sister thing to do, I love it. Like I lie to my friends stupid. So I told my mom once, you can't stop at stop signs. They're optional if they have a white ring on the outside. It's so stupid, but it's like, you don't ever notice that stop signs have a white ring on the outside. So you're like, oh, okay, maybe it is optional. I didn't think drinking and driving applied specifically to alcohol. When I was little, I just thought drinking and driving just meant any liquid. So whenever my mom drank water in the car, I was so ashamed and promised I'd never tell a soul because I didn't want to lose my mom or have her go to jail. I thought this too. I'm ashamed. I believe that stoplights worked because people were inside of them changing colors. Again, we don't understand technology, so our first thought is there's people in there. So now you gotta wonder how many kids today think there's little mini people inside their cell phones. I don't know, maybe they understand it now, but that's very valid. I thought Labor Day was the day all the pregnant ladies went into labor and had their babies. That is also not a bad idea. Like this is something you could think in high school and I would not be surprised. I'd be like, yeah, it's Labor Day. It is what it is, not a big deal. When I was little, I thought dead end meant that's where people dump dead bodies. Okay, that's a little bit morbid, a little bit depressing, I'm sorry. I don't like this one. It makes me sad. My parents made me believe that it was illegal to have the interior lights of the car on at night while driving. So did mine. And I did not know this until I could drive my own car, that it wasn't illegal. Because I always said, turn the lights off, the cops will arrest us. And I never questioned it. I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Obviously they'll arrest us. I remember asking, like it's like dusk out, like the sun's half up. And I'm like, hey dad, am I allowed to turn the lights on or will we get arrested? He's like, no, you'll get arrested. I'm like, okay, not gonna do it. 25. I used to think the teachers lived in the teacher's lounge because they were still at school when we left and there when we got there the next day. That's pretty reasonable. I could think that too. 26. I always thought that the ashes that were spread on people's foreheads on Ash Wednesday were the ashes of dead people. Wow. Again, disgusting. Very possible. I did not do that one. Finally, guys, last but not least, number 27. I thought that people who died in movies actually died. Like getting the job meant you were willing to get killed too. Okay, so what I've learned here is that movies are very tough for kids to understand. Little people live inside of everything technological. Your computer, your phone, your traffic light, all have little people in it. And I had just as bad of a childhood with this stuff as all of you did.